the Butler Circle. It's a little bit higher and more difficult to reach. Mm-hmm. So that's what we have for a city budget for those projects.
40 feet.
Those sound appropriate.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, transparency with what it's going to be, and it's going to help us attract more people that might think, when they see that, they're going to realize that's my ballpark and that's where I work at.
Yeah. Right. You're on mute, Al.
I know. I need a mouse. I don't have a mouse pad. So. Anyway.
Welcome.
Hi, Ira.
Thank you for joining us.
Hi, guys. How you doing?
We're doing well. Thanks.
Good.
Thanks for joining us.
Do you want to skip and go off the agenda and talk because Ira's here? We can jump to why Ira is here and talk about that. Is that all right with the committee?
Sure.
Okay. Yes. So I think Brian is the reason why Ira is here. Is this true?
One of the reasons.
One of the reasons. Okay. Ira, you want to speak?
Well, you know, I wasn't sure what was coming up in the meeting night, but I had an issue on Shirley Ave with a mural that some people wanted to do in the municipal parking lot. And I didn't know about it until all of a sudden they were making plans to do it. And I was a little upset, number one, the way it was brought up. And I just happened to get an email from Dimple saying that Revere Youth in Action is going to have a new mural painted on the wall where Anchor Tom Market is. And I just had an issue with it. I met with the mayor, I met with Kim Hanton, I met with the designer of the mural, and I just, you know, I think there has to be more input from people rather than just one group. And it was more of a memorial type mural with Khmer writing over as the Anchor Tom title of their store. There was no way that anybody could understand that it was Anchor Tom itself. So, you know, Brian just thought I should come in to you guys and see if that's something that you wanted to pick up and look down the road, because even Kim Hanton said, you know, it's more of an arts commission issue rather than just a personal group issue.
Right.
To do it. So that's why I came on just to touch base with you folks.
And I just want to add something before Brian chimes in, that these groups that are doing whatever they're doing, cleanups or murals or whatever, they should inform the ward councilor and let them know what's going on. And I think the ward councilor should be involved in whatever is going on in his or her ward. So I'm glad you brought this to our attention. I know it's happened a couple of times, and I know the council has talked about this. So without further going on with this, Brian, you want to speak about this? And your ideas was your idea that you told me yesterday was outstanding. So why don't you speak about this?
All right. Ira approached me, I don't know, a few days ago, talked about the mural going up, and they had painted over the original mural. You can't see it, Ira, when you hold it up. The screen won't work that way.
No, I just thought maybe you can get a view of it.
No, it goes right through it, Ira.
No, it's tilted.
Let me get rid of my virtual.
Yeah, you have
There
to
you go.
tilt it.
Well, the
Okay.
long and short of it is where the Anchor Tom Market is in the parking lot. They painted over it. From what I understand, there may have been miscommunication between how, who, and what it was supposed to be done. So Ira told me that he contacted the city and Kim and all that. And well, I said, you know, let's figure out what they want. Let's figure out how we can correct the situation. And let's utilize that space that I mentioned when we first started the Public Arts Commission about working on a more community-based level until we got ourselves really rolling, and it was the right time of year to do murals. So what I proposed was, and we've had success with it through L being a believer in it, is with the banners. If we were to take and make metal framing on that wall, we could put 3 large size spaces up where banners could be put. They're protected, not touched, above the view of the cars, and they could be changed out. Ira mentioned to me that the owner of the building, whose family has had it a very long time from what I understand, wants to have a little bit of the history of what Shirley Ave is and what it's becoming. So there's 3 different spaces. There could be one for that. There could be one for something modern or new or the changes in Shirley Ave, and there could be the piece that the group wants to put up. We also have another space farther down Shirley Ave where the bikes get parked for when you want to rent a bike, a pop-up park on Shirley Ave. We could do the same thing on that wall, and if people want to do some sort of thing where it goes up for a couple of weeks or a week or whatever with a banner, and then take the banner and use it in their community, or we reuse it around our community, and then do what I've done with all the banners I've made using my photographic art for the census and for wear a mask and 6 feet, is I've donated several of them to the Revere Public Arts. To the Revere Historic Society, because there was a push there where there wasn't enough diversity. Well, the truth is there just wasn't enough people of that culture in the city at the time, and everyone realizes we need to bring it up a little bit. So Rashid from Masir gave seed funding money to any group that put something in there to help. So I made sure I donated everything that I had across all the cultures that we have in Revere, since we did 8 different ones with the census, and put them in there so that they could use it and they could do the same thing. So what it does is allows for the community to change the piece of art. It adapts to the community, and as it grows and changes, it allows us, if we want to change and show historical parts of a community, we can do that. And it allows individuals, I recognize after we had the meeting about the Lincoln School and the mural on the thing, that we cannot put up murals or on any sort of thing like that that represents one individual. But we could maybe do something that was towards the cause of what they represented, and that's more being peace. That's more representing your community. So that can be done. I saw the piece Ira had where they put the mural in. Graphically, the thing's beautiful. It's gorgeous. Yes, it's in Khmer language and it's abstract, but the thing is very pretty. But how it went about, no one was advised on it. The owner didn't even recognize that it had occurred to his building. There needs to be more communication. And we need to let people know, now that we are the Public Arts Commission, that we have opportunities for folks and we can do these things. We're not going to be throwing up $15,000 and $25,000 murals across the city every other month or every season. So we need to find other things that we can do that will interact and engage us, that allows us to build beyond the public arts community into a public art, Revere art community, where us as the Revere Public Arts Commission leads a little bit, guides a little bit, and helps, but let people know that we're here and we do want to hear what you have to say. And if we can help you make it work, then why not?
Great.
Do you think this could be an opportunity for a public art ordinance that sort of outlines loosely a process of bringing art projects through the Public Art Commission, so that we can help support local artists that may have an idea but not have funding? We can try to match them with funding. We can also communicate if there's an area that they want to place a mural. It could be public or private property, that we can work towards connecting them with that individual or with the city, whomever the
That's a
recipient
great
of the
idea.
public art could be. But I think if we do create an ordinance, we sort of create some sort of process for people to follow, and that we can actually help facilitate people's ideas and try to help them find funding to make it happen.
I think that's a great idea. Yeah, definitely.
Revere art community, what I've been pushing for from the very day one. Yes, that's what we need. We need to have structure underneath the Public Arts Commission, because it's a whole different game. but there's a lot of people that want to interact and work and give it a shot. So we need to start small. We can't be, I mean, we're attracting a different type of artist for the murals, but let's attract Revere artists and have things work that way. Go back to the pop-up, go back to where it's all laid out. If we go back and look at our notes, that's how we should build ourselves and be engaging with every single individual, whoever they are, whatever they believe in, whatever they want to express in their arts, as long as it's, reasonably acceptable to the general public, nothing outrageous, but yeah, we should be. And that's the thing. We have the spaces. We've got pop-up parks. You go by the high school, there's that big giant field. Could you imagine that with arts that were done by people in the community or assisted by other artists that know how to do some things like that? And that's one of the projects we do as a community, where people could interact, and there it is for that season. And then the next season, it's a different type of artist and a different thing comes up. We could be known for the arts. We might not be known for the arts all across Greater Boston, but we'll be known for the arts in Revere and anyone that comes there if they work towards this goal.
I think
Right.
there's two things to consider. One is, the ordinance and how, logistically, the rules set for how to go about things. And then the other side of it is also to have some sort of platforms, right? So part of what I had prepared to talk to everyone about is some examples of different platforms that other cities have done, that ways that are organized that people can get involved, as you say, Brian, on like a yearly basis. There's some examples of other cities doing things like this and how it affects the city and the economy and things like that. So when we're ready to talk about examples like that, I can show everyone the information that I've gotten together. But I think having both of those, the ordinance and also the platform, and the kind of organized ways for many different people to get involved on the same project can really help the community get involved.
100% agree.
Let me just cut in for a second. Two things. First of all, you want to do an ordinance, it's fine, but you have to realize, number one, someone's going to have to write it, or find someone in another city that has an ordinance relating to that.
We have those, Ira.
Okay.
All that type of documentation's been grabbed already.
Well, but somebody has to write it up and put it in format, so we can present it to the council for a public hearing, if that's the way that we want to go. Or do we want to make it a policy type thing where it's anybody who wants to do a mural would have to, the policy would say they have to go in front of the your committee and work with you guys on it. And then if we do an ordinance, what's the enforcement on it? Who's going to be enforcing? If somebody does something, who do you go to? The building inspector is really the zoning police, as you want to call it. So anything we put in the ordinances that's in a zoning issue or dealing with property, honestly, I don't think they're going to rush to enforce something where they have so many other things going on with construction in the city and renovations and stuff like this. We have trouble with them trying to enforce some of our smaller ordinances, and Joanne will tell you, trying to enforce some smaller ordinances that we passed, and we just can't get anybody to enforce it.
Right.
So, we have to think about those things. I'm not saying not to go either way, but just something you have to.
Ira, you need to take into consideration that the arts is a community. And with the community, sometimes they become self-aware and they're self-governing of what they're doing. So it's a little bit different than an ordinance for something that's going up in the city where a building inspector is going to go on it. It's going to be a piece of art that's put up that develops pride for that individual section of the community and overall pride for the whole city of Revere when they recognize that we're all part of one thing. So I agree that, yes, we need to follow the rules and stuff, but I don't think that it's going to be issues of where there may be issues in people just don't know it yet. And our job as the Public Arts Commission is to let this community know that this is something where you can come, get assistance, and work towards developing something that you have a vision of that is artistic, that works within our city.
Well, the question would be if we did an ordinance, okay, and somebody, anybody, just went and started doing a mural somewhere, okay, who would we say, someone go tell them that they can't do it? No.
Then you got to look at what the ordinance is for what goes up for signage in the city of Revere.
Well,
Are there limitations for that?
Signage, yeah, it's the.
All right, then.
Look, and I'll just give you a good example, okay? We just got through with an election, and everybody is talking about the corner of Revere Street and American Legion Highway where they had 50 signs of politicians on that fence. I mean, literally, it was probably the worst location in the city that everybody within the city and outside the city was looking at as they came by. And we have an ordinance for signs. I wrote it. But the building department won't, our inspection services doesn't enforce it. So.
Well, I can't see how that would be applicable to a piece of art being put up. If someone wants to put it up, we just speak, hey, we've got some things that can help you with that. But if it's privately owned and it's on their building and there isn't an ordinance for that in the city, then they're going to be able to do it. What I'm saying is I think we should reach out with a positive hand, look positive and forward in what we're trying to do, and go from there. If we discover that we need to put ordinances in, then we'll dig down into the minutia and cover it every way to Sunday where it works.
Yeah,
but for right now, let's just be positive and move forward.
You guys do what you want to do. You know, I put it in your hands because I know this was, as far as I was concerned, out of line.
Well, that's what you said to me. You felt that you came and the city hall felt that it should come to us. And what I'm saying is us as a group, let's pull in everybody. Let's be positive about it. Let's find some solutions that allow us to turn over stuff where everyone can get a shot at doing something and go from there. Makes sense to me. It's not that hard to print up banners rather than paying multiple dollars and have some people be upset because it isn't what they wanted or we didn't get our chance to put it up. It's a piece of art. Let's let everybody have a chance at putting up a piece of art. It's not that hard.
I like the idea of the panels. You know,
I think they'd work great. It's a permanent thing. Then we can have guidelines for installation and uninstallation through the Department of Public Works. These things get taken care of, can be used in other spaces in the city, can be used by the community that wanted to develop that piece so badly that they wanted to express it so the world could see it. And then if they're willing to and wanting to, either keep it inside, whatever cultural society they have in their community, or share it with the cultural society we're trying to build for the parts of Revere where we don't have a lot of history of, which is now in back in time stuff, and share it there. Could you imagine all different banners of events like that along the 2 chain link fences in the parking lot of the Revere Historic Society when something went on? There'd be a little pride in the city of Revere and the people that all belong in that part of it.
Whatever works, whatever you guys can work out.
I just want to say that we did it at Revere High School. We represented in the cafeteria. We did every single flag that represented every single student. So, and it worked really well. Everybody was so proud. They would go up and point and say, "This is my flag." And I'd say, "Oh, great." But we did that. It was a big success. So I think it's a great idea, Brian. And
it's ongoing and it's changing and it's evolving and it's us.
Okay.
Ira, I do want to work with you more. We'll have a cup of coffee I like the idea of, rather than it being an ordinance, that it's a suggestion or whatever, like this is how we like to do it. Come see us. We can help you do more and better with it.
And you guys can put out a policy and we advertise it, you know, between the newspapers and Facebook and all the media that we can reach out to.
And our Instagram page.
Whatever. You know, whatever works. You know, not everybody's looking at your Instagram page. You know, but
No, I
people-
mean the Revere Public Arts Commission when we finally got one.
I understand, but, you know, people would see it on Facebook, they see it on Twitter, they see it on Instagram, you know, and whatever other things that I'm not even into. So
Right.
that's the way to get the policy out there if you're gonna do it that way. And I'm sure if you went into the council, you know, Joanne and I are on board, but the other folks, they have no clue. You know, I love them all, but, you know, they have no, all they would say, yeah, and just fluff it off.
Every
And
one of
they
them,
won't have any meat. They won't have any meat. That's the whole thing that I look at.
Right. I get it.
Well,
All right.
In response to Ara, Councilor Novoselsky, is there an interest in forming a subcommittee for policy ordinance work? Who would like to be involved in writing that?
it's really you guys.
I will be part of
Would do
that.
a subcommittee of that, so it wouldn't be all of us.
Could I work on that, or would it be a conflict of interest?
No,
Because-
Brian and Joanne, and I'll
Okay.
send out a meeting for that. To get that going?
Sure.
Yeah, we'll
Okay.
communicate with each other.
Okay. Thank you.
Well,
All right.
Thank you, Councilor
I thank you
Novoselsky.
guys. I thank you guys for the input and allowing me to talk on this thing at this point and interrupt the meeting, but I'm glad I
Thank you
signed
for
on.
participating.
Yeah, no,
Sarah.
I look forward to working with you guys and making the city beautiful
Great,
and interesting.
great.
Thank you, Ira.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
Bye, Ira. Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to the next agenda item.
One question, Naomi, I know you're in purely artist, which you really are. I love what you do. Would you have any interest in sitting in and listening and talking a little bit about what Joanne and I are saying about policy? Would you have an interest in that side of the arts? If not, it's okay.
I'm sorry I don't say much when we talk about it. I don't know much about it. So
That's why
maybe-
I'm asking if you'd like to learn a little bit about that when we do it. That's all.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty beneficial actually, because then I would know a little more about what we're talking about sometimes.
Always looks good in that college thing. Oh, yes, and part of the committee for.
All right.
All right, so is that all right with you, Joanne?
Oh, fine, really.
Good. Get
Fine.
everyone involved.
Hey, I'll include you as well, Naomi.
Great. Moving on to the next agenda item. We have an email address that Elle put together. You want to just talk about that?
Yeah, so I spoke briefly on it at our last meeting. So we will have rpac@revere.org. So when we receive an email at that address, it will go to the series of emails that we provide. In our last 2 meetings ago, I asked for whomever is going to have access to that email to send me what email you want to use for that, in case it's any variation from what you're using today for invitations and such.
I'm
When you
sorry, I
receive-
got lost. I got lost there in that. What?
So each individual, so if a user sends an email to rpac@revere.org,
Yeah,
it will go
okay.
to a specific list of emails.
Oh.
So because many of the people on this committee do not have revere.org emails, I will need to use your personal email or whatever email you give me to use for that. And then when and if you send a response to somebody that has sent an email to rpac@revere.org, it will show that that response is coming from your email, whatever the email is that you.
Thank you. I just
So that
didn't hear that part.
so it won't come from, the response won't come from RPAC. It will come from whomever responded's personal email.
Right.
Okay, so that's why I wanted to make sure that I didn't just make any assumptions and use whatever email that I have in case you would prefer to use a different email. if you have another email address or you want to create one specific for this committee.
And just email that to you with the information.
Yep, just let me know whatever email you want to use and I'll have it set up. It will take a few days to get that set up, but I didn't receive any emails on the heels of our last meeting, so.
I was not at
We have
that.
the shell, we have the shell of it, but I don't have the users and the emails that you want to use.
Oh.
So if you could send that to me in the next 2 days, I'll try to get that set up right away. And then if we want, we can use that email address for many things going forward. Whatever
Thank you, Al.
applications we want. Okay, so that's up. Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is the social media proposal. Brian, you weren't here. Go ahead. It's all yours.
As Al just said, I have the shell for the Instagram page, Revere Public Arts Commission. And just the name is Revere Arts. I need to go through, and since I have not done one like this before, added a couple of people to be administrators on that. Basically, I look at it as a presentation page for us and an info page, not an interactive page per se.
Okay.
Anyone want to be part of that? Al?
Great.
I figured you.
I can
First.
try to help with it if you want.
Naomi. All right, and we'll wait for Rog or Kirsten. Maybe Kirsten would like that because it's easier and it'd be a little interactive for her. All righty.
Okay.
And so I'm going to need the logo to put up as our, symbol of us. And what that gets going, I will reach out to all of you and ask you to push it out among your peeps and art buddies and all that stuff, and we can go from there. And if we feel that we get enough stuff coming into us that wants to post to that and it works through a system, maybe we can go there. But for right now, I just look at it as a billboard for us to be out there, just so people see us as a presence.
Right.
So one thing I just want to have some input on that. Not that I need to be involved on the, organizing it, but I think one thing that makes Instagram pages successful is that all of the images have somewhat of a cohesive, they look well together,
Yeah.
So I know, Brian, your photography work is, I love your work, and I think it's really interesting how you have these different effects on things.
Photoshop, yeah.
Yeah, is it Photoshop? Okay. Well, I think it could be cool if we
I have a magic camera.
I think it could be really cool if we have some sort of, style that makes all of whatever we post just look good together.
Oh, yeah.
More professional. So I don't know, maybe we can, when we group back together and look at the Instagram page together, maybe you might have some sort of proposal of what that should look like, or maybe you want some input. But I think that would be one thing that would be important to make us look, really strong visually.
I agree.
Oh, yeah. That should not be the hardcore art stuff I'm doing. That's something that would be inside of that. But, oh, no. I've worked with the Fort Point art community on there as I shoot the pictures for all their website stuff. It's going to be all, oh, they look good. You look younger there. That sort of stuff. And then, of course, the stuff that we do, the murals that go up. And we can make images. That's easy enough. It's going to talk about what we've got going on. But I don't see that as a highly, other than showing stuff for right now, page. It's just we got an Instagram page now. We've got other things we got to go tackle. Like we get some pictures of the kids with the permission and all that, then yeah, that would go up. We have an event, that'll go up. But yeah, it'd be event type of photography stuff. But yeah, everyone should be part of it. But I just want someone, if something happens, that they can take over for it and do something underneath. Administrators, I just have not. If anyone has the knowledge on that, how to add an administrator to an Instagram page, then it saved me the time of looking it up. I'd appreciate it.
Okay. Does anybody want to be an administrator?
Well, Naomi said she'd like to be part of that.
All right.
And Elle's gonna be one.
Yeah, I could try to help like manage the page and stuff. I don't know how to grant access to like other people so that like two people can like have the account on their phone at once. I think you just like you log in with the same password and username maybe, and then you're
Great.
able to access the account from your phone, I think. I'll look it
I
up.
sort of
though.
thought that today, yeah. Yeah. Good, they made it easy. Well, some of them make it so damn hard. You know, you gotta jump through
Yeah.
circles to get that stuff done.
Okay. Are we done with the social media proposal?
Well, for that, yeah, that, and I'd like to try to push, we do some social event we get together, where you and I had talked about, Joanne, about artist meeting. Go from there, push a little bit, just talk about art rather than the function of art inside a community of Revere. Just art.
We could like feature an artist like every month or something from the community on our Instagram or something, which could help them like share their work with other people and help us all stay connected.
That's a great idea.
I think it's a great idea too.
Mm-hmm. That's what it's there for.
So why don't we start with you, Naomi?
Oh, with me. Also, I'm sorry, my dog tried to walk in the door.
So
Yeah.
with you, we can feature you as the first artist.
I don't know if one of you guys wants to go first. Your work is probably way more advanced than mine. Yeah.
Now, Naomi, it's not how much of a experience you have or reach across the community of art that you do, what you do. This is about enjoying what we all like to do, creating, doing something different. And that's just why I asked about, do you want to learn the technical side of creativity? Because
Yeah.
there is that. And Erin's a great example of that. She's got to work in a medium that's heavy, not easy to get around. So she needs to learn a lot of technical stuff to get her stuff to even get to the place where they're going to do the show. So there's all different sides. And there's people that you work with, Erin, that do that sort of stuff, don't they? Yeah, they're the arts, the conservators, the shippers. So there's a lot of different things. And I think we need to start showing the community a little bit, moving down from commission to art community, where we take and start to show people how to do basic 101 things. Because we're a community where, yeah, there are the Erins, there are the Joannes, there are the Naomis, there are the Brians that have done it a little bit and enjoy it. But we need to make it more welcoming for everybody to come in and have a chance to be able to do something, because you don't know until you try it, really.
Thank you. Okay, so
You'll have that stuff by next Friday, right?
yes, I will. I'm really sorry about this.
No, I'm talking about the art you got to put up for your big show where everyone's going to be.
How many pieces should we have? Like the artist of the month?
No pressure at all.
I think it'll be fun.
I'm your number one fan. I don't know. Would you like a half a dozen pieces?
Half a dozen? Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, that would be fun.
You've got to have some. You've got to show some sort of growth.
Yeah, I mean,
Here's what it was when I really decided I knew I was going to do it, and here's where I am now. It doesn't
It doesn't have to be the same thing. Like it doesn't have to be all drawings. If you can do it mixed media.
yeah.
You could do your ceramics, a piece of ceramic. You could do a drawing. Some of the logo that you did. So it doesn't have to be just one. 6 drawings. It could be 6 of anything. So,
and for all you other artists out there watching in Revere, she's the first, but you're going to be next. Erin, shouldn't we make her do it just like a call where she's going to put in her artistic statement?
I
What do
like
you
that.
think?
idea.
Yeah, it's just like the real deal. An artistic statement. What else should we have her put in? What the piece means, interprets.
yeah, that's true. A little biography, a little biography of her. So,
And then we have a format for our Instagram. Yes, good, Joanne.
So
I think this
like
is a really fun way for everybody to engage in the community, because I think that like the way that you like find out that there's like a artist that you really like is by seeing like their work, and the easiest way to see it is like on social media, especially if they're like a small artist that you don't really like know that well. Like there could be an artist in the community that you like really like, and you didn't even know it until like you see their work. So I think this could be great.
good. So I feel we have a whole month, 2 months, until our next meeting. Our next meeting is January 18th, I believe. So we'll give you until January 18th I know you're in school, but I know you have a break too. So maybe during the break you could work on this. But we'll give you until January 18th. How's that? And then what we can do is we can publicize it. You know, we can look at what you have, and we can talk about it, and then we'll put it up on the Instagram page. How's that?
Like a plan.
Does that sound good?
Definitely get it done by then, because that's when I have to finish my portfolio before then for
Okay,
college.
great.
Yeah.
So you could use part of your portfolio for that.
Yeah.
Good point. Good point. You don't have to make everything new.
Yeah. I was planning to use it. I don't think I'd be able to make everything. Yeah.
Do you want to say anything? You're on mute. No?
Sorry, Miles just walked in the house.
Oh,
Erin?
no, Meyer.
Miles.
Her son.
Oh,
All right.
it's my
All right,
brother's name.
Let's move on. So we have an update. We don't really have an update for the PAC logo bumper, but sticker. But Naomi's going to work on that. You've got a lot of pressure on your shoulders. You got to do a lot of.
No, it's totally fine. The changing the color of the logo, it literally takes like 5 seconds. I forgot. It totally slipped my mind. I'm gonna get it like right after the meeting ends. You're gonna get an email and be like, "Here it is." I will have it.
I would like to make a mock so I can show everybody what it looks like. So once you give it to me, then I'll give it to the printer, and maybe he can do a mock. A mock whatever. So
A mock-up?
mock up. Thank you.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's fine. And then we can show it to the public. We can show it to everybody. How's that? Good?
That sounds
Yeah.
great.
Okay. And so while we're on the subject, I did put a motion in for the fire station and the kitty for the PAC commission. And I did get it approved. It was approved. I tried to get it out of the CTE fund. Is that what it is, El? I always forget the initials.
EIT fund.
EIT fund. But the mayor said that he was going to get it out of I don't know, free money. So so we have to follow up on that. I have to follow up on that. It was approved, and Rich Biscay has it now. And then I just have to communicate with Rich Biscay to see how we pull that money out of wherever it's going to come out of. So we do have that. We do have the Beachmont renovation, also the Beachmont Fire Station renovation. So those two things. We got $1,000 for the kitty, and we also got $3,000 for the cleanup for the fire station. So once we get that, then we can buy 100 stickers or whatever we're going to do with your logo. I talked to Elle about either selling them for $1 or just giving them away. I just think that we should sell them because then we'll get a little more revenue. But that's up to the committee. That's just my opinion. I don't think $1 is going to kill people. I know back in the day we sold Beachmont bumper stickers, and they're still on cars for like $3. And that was back in the day. I'm talking about maybe, how old are you, Naomi? 18?
Yeah, I just 18.
Yeah, it was probably about 20 years ago. So So we can make that decision as a group. What do you think?
I just have one question on that. Would anybody want to consider a mix of doing magnets and bumper stickers?
Magnets are cool.
You know, the magnets that go on the back of your vehicle, so you're not actually sticking it on, but it looks like a bumper sticker, but it's not actually a bumper sticker. It's a
I
magnet.
mean, you wouldn't stick one on for Revere Pride on your car?
I'm out of
I
window
saw that.
space. My car,
Slam.
bumper stickers, but I would put a magnet on. I know
Yeah.
some other people would, prefer not to put a bumper sticker on. And
I get it.
Is it? It's got to be a different cost, and that's going to delay it and all that stuff. What if we do that the second round, or if you can find out quick?
You can definitely find out. We have to get that
Just
money.
maybe do a mix of the both, mix of
Right.
two.
Joanne, I don't think they should be $1. They should be $10. It's the River Public Arts Commission, for God's sakes.
Well, I would say $5. How's that? But
That is fair.
All it's going to is the arts. We're going to put it back into something else.
now we're going to do it transparent, right? So it's going to be transparent. The background's going to be transparent, or is the background going to be white? We're doing it red, white, and blue. So I guess I answered my own question. It's not going to be transparent. So, okay.
That's why you're in charge.
Thank you. Okay. So, moving on. So you're going to get me that, and I'm going to get everybody a price, and then I'm going to call Rich Fiskay to get the money so we can pay for this. All right.
Sorry, before we move on, Elle, did you send me the color swatch things for the official Revere colors or no? I'm sorry. I don't know if I got them in my email.
The Hexies.
You're on mute, Elle. You're on mute. Sorry. That should be the line of the year. You're
I
on mute.
know, you're on mute. Anyway,
Go in the dictionary.
I did send it out to Joanne. I'm trying to recall, and I sent it a while ago, so I'm trying to recall if I copied you on it, or did I just send it to you, Joanne?
I don't even remember
I
you saying
got
that.
one, but I don't really remember.
I did get it. I got the colors from the mayor's office,
Okay.
and
So
I forwarded them out right away. I think it was right after the meeting. So let me,
can you
we'll
resend
check-
them?
yeah, I'll look to resend them for you.
Okay.
Okay, but I did receive them and I sent them out. I'm trying to recall if it was to both you and Joanne or just Joanne.
I'm looking. All right. I'll look again.
Okay.
All right. Next item on the agenda is the update for the spring art event. Elle, you want to talk about that?
I met with Erin and Rob. So Erin, if you want to give the update.
Okay. You're on mute.
Yes, so we discussed some. I don't have notes in front of me, so I might not cover everything here, Elle. So feel free to jump in. But we discussed first some ways to organize the theme of the work, and we came up with having the artists and the pillars represent the towns that the underpass runs through, right? So because I believe there are 6 pillars, is that right, Elle? Yeah. So 6 pillars. So we talked about I forget exactly. Was it two pillars for each town?
Yeah, there's actually 12 pillars. So I think we said we'd dedicate one for a welcome, like a welcome on one side and welcome on the other side, and then 2 per community. I think
Yes,
that was what we said.
right. So when you come in from one side, there would be one pillar kind of like, like an entrance into, and then it would start zigzagging with 2 pillars per community.
Who thought that up?
We brainstormed for a few minutes.
That's cool. That's very cool. That works great.
Yeah, because basically we were talking about different themes, and it seems like, and I mentioned just now in public art, a big sort of reoccurring theme is diversity, right? So a lot of artists are working on themes like that, and it's getting a lot of attention from press. So it could be an interesting story for the press to write about, and could get attention coming from that angle.
That definitely will get media attention. I have no doubt about that.
We also talked about maybe a possibility of on the back walls that are much longer, doing some sort of train theme, since it is the railroad corridor. So maybe a throwback or something like that. And that was just something we mentioned. We didn't really.
How visible is it? How visible is it from on the walkway, looking back into the back part where the piece would be?
Very visible.
Pretty
You
visible.
can't. Yeah, it's no problem with lighting or anything.
No, it's all lit up.
Okay, well,
It's already been lit.
even during the
Those
day they
people-
light it.
Nope, just at dusk. They're timed.
Because you know how you
So-
go down the one in Beachmont, you walk through that in the day, and it gets dark when you get in the curve there.
Mhm. Dusk to dawn.
Oh, that's great. It looks, I love the lighting. It looks fantastic. And that concept, and if they match the abstraction, and I'm just saying, you do what you want.
We can change that lighting. We have capability to do that.
Yeah, it moves, yeah. Yeah,
But we can
Okay.
set it to any color, any pattern. So as the artists develop their work, we can set the lighting to match their
Awesome.
theme.
Okay.
awesome.
We do have flexibility with that. It's pretty incredible program.
It was a well thought out program you did there, Al. Seriously, getting that in there.
I didn't have the lights in there. Well, I wanted the lights, but it was
Probably your idea.
collaborations, village,
What?
working on that project.
Definitely, it's a village.
It's a village on that project for sure.
Well,
It's
then thank
not my
God.
doing.
Thank
But,
God there was
It's been
a
good.
village that did it. It's great.
So we also talked about a few other things, Erin. Do you want to go ahead?
The other things we talked about, sorry, because like I said, I don't have notes, was, I forget how so we talked about the actual, the work being done, and possibly having this food truck, right? Or a DJ and kind of like a bar, what is it? Like a bar on wheels type of thing, right? Because it would be going into the night. And I think the deadline would be, we would need to close it down by 9 p.m. Is that right? But
I think so. I think so, because it is so close to so many homes. But
right.
we definitely talked about, and I think one thing we don't really have an answer to, but we talked about as a possible idea, was to actually have it start really early in the day, and to have more artists doing less work, so that we could complete the project over the course of a day, or consider doing it over the course of a weekend. So a Saturday, Sunday event, in which we'd be able to have the artists come in, everybody come in at the same time, and everybody's working together. We have a DJ, we have food truck, so people can come out and watch the artists doing their work. So we were trying to figure out, what is really like a happy space that is not too much for an artist to complete in a day. And whether or not that's feasible to do that, because some of the back walls are longer, but depending on the style of work that is presented, I think it's possible that they could do it in a day. I can't speak personally for it, but so I think it's something, we're still working through it, but we made a lot of progress in the first meeting. So we look forward to having the second one, and we'll update everybody. We should probably meet, I'd say, probably at least 2 more times before January, and come in with a stronger update and some budgeting, some maybe proposed budget per artist. We can do it by per pillar, and then the sidewalls are a little bit larger, so that might be a little bit more funding for those artists.
What period of time are you envisioning this happening? Spring?
Oh, yeah, probably June.
June.
All right, yeah. Then you've got the afternoon into the evening, and you got natural light. Yeah,
Mhm.
great, good.
Yeah. So we'd
Then
look to
when we-
start it early in the morning, and, let the artists come early, set up, get acclimated,
Yeah, let them
So-
get in the groove and then invite.
Yeah. And then have sort of the public event start maybe around noon or 2.
I'm excited.
Yeah,
It
I
should
am.
be fun, though.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
So Naomi, what performance are you gonna do?
So I,
Poor kid.
I'll watch everybody else.
Good, that's good answer. Good answer.
Yeah. I'll watch
Okay.
everybody else.
Anybody else want to say anything? Erin, you have anything else to say?
yeah, I was just, I think, El, when you guys were talking about the time, I had jumped off that call a little bit earlier. So I don't remember talking about that, but I think that considering that this would be our first, event, you know, that we're doing, I think it could be great to have it over 2 days, because I think the first day, it will take the artist some time to set up, especially because there's so many artists and different parts to it. But I also think that we could get some press coverage on the first day that could get people down to experience the event on the second day. Just, you know, just as a thought of how it might sort of get attention and excite the community. I think that could open it up to more people, you know, checking it out.
Okay.
Just a thought.
What do you think, El?
Yeah, I'm open to anything. We just were talking through, so logistically we'll have to budget as well. If we're going to have an event over the course of 2 days, it's going to be a little bit more expensive than having it over the course of 1 day. So we just have to figure out what that is and what's the best way to move forward. But I'm open to whatever you think would be best for the artists.
Yeah, and another thing could be the first day the artists start, you know, and they get a few hours of work in at least, and then we can invite the press to come check it out and talk about it, and then we can have, you know, the event on the second day with the, you know, with the truck and the DJ and all of that stuff.
So I will just voice my concern about that space that has been chronic graffiti.
Yeah.
And I actually had Raw Art come down before, and they started working on the pillars, and you can see some residual work that had been started. But because they were only able to work in 2-hour increments because they're students, so by the time they got there and set up, they weren't able to finish as much. And many of the pillars were plagued with graffiti before they finished.
Oh, wow.
And it was partly, I think, because they weren't finished.
Okay.
So I have some sort of motive in the back of my mind to have things completed
In one.
faster rather than slower.
Okay.
And if we make the square footage smaller for each artist, I think it could be feasible to finish it in 1 day. I mean, we've gone down and granted, we've only painted over the graffiti, but we've done that in as little as 2 hours with 12 people. So we'll have to do that before the event. So the Friday before the event, I would say probably all of us and maybe 6 more volunteers. More than 12 people is too many. I've painted over this at least, I think, 5 or 6 times.
So
we
it's
need
got graffiti on it
people
now?
for about 2 to 3 hours. Oh, it's covered in graffiti.
Great. Before we paint over it, I want to shoot pictures of it and preserve
Sure.
that.
Yeah, it's there.
And the other
Go for it.
we
But
have,
it's yeah.
I'm sorry. We do have a solution that covers over
Right. We do.
the work. So and
that
you can scrub it off.
will have to be part of it, but you can't coat it until it's dry. The
Right.
paint has to be dry before you can do that, and it takes probably 2 to 3 days before you will want to put the anti-graffiti over it, and that has to be part of the project.
Right.
So as with any of the murals that are done, we have to have the anti-graffiti on it. But the way I see it is if the work is finished, it's completed, it's less likely to have graffiti put on it than
I
if it's an
agree. I
unfinished
agree.
piece.
Well,
Or partly
hopefully
blank wall.
people are respectful, you
Yeah.
know?
So we just have to consider that. And if we need to consider police details until it's dry and we get the anti-graffiti on, we might have to consider that as part of the budget as well.
I think we should also have whoever's going to be the new intern coming in next year, that they should stand some guard duty.
I wouldn't really assign anybody to stand under that bridge.
Well, they gotta earn their way in. They're not all going to be as great as Naomi was.
Thank you. That's all I have on that.
All right, I just want to ask you a couple of questions. The Beachmont underpass has graffiti on it. It's been painted black, but they're starting to put tags on there. Can we have that cleaned up, Al? And the other one too is
Yes.
the underpass where Winthrop Ave is, where you take the turn to go on American Legion Highway. They cut the bushes there, so and now you can see the graffiti, and that's a beautiful space. There is a sidewalk there, but that's where the trucks take the turn to go. They come from. They come from American Legion Highway. They take the turn under the underpass. It's Winthrop Ave, Revere Beach Parkway, and then they go into Boston. Do you know where I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that whole thing is really, really bad. And it's a showcase. It's a showcase for Revere. You know, people come in and out of there, and they go by there and they see it. So I think, yeah.
Can you put in a 311 request and put my name on it?
I can do
Thank
that. Okay, I have to write it down.
If you have any photos, that's
I
helpful.
do have photos. I think I sent them to you. I'm not really sure.
I do think you might have done that.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure.
Because I did go out and I parked and I did go out and I took pictures. So,
Okay.
So the next item is I just wanted to remind Revere TV and the members of this committee that December 21st meeting is canceled. And our next meeting is January 18th. And the reason why we canceled it is because we're so close to Christmas and a lot of people are traveling. So that's why we canceled it. I want to do, before I open it up to the members of, to talk about whatever you want to, I just want to do a point of personal privilege. I just want to tell you that in October, the late October, we lost a local artist from Beachmont. His name was Paul Ferraro. He loved Beachmont. He was from Beachmont all his life. He was my student. He was a kind and gentle soul, and he's going to be missed. And I just wanted to give him, respect and just say that because he was a local artist. He was a very, very talented person and just coming into his own. He was just coming into his own and he passed. He was 40 years old. So I just wanted to give him that point of privilege and just acknowledge him. So thank you. And anybody want to say anything? Because I know a couple of people knew him.
Unexpected.
Yeah, I know. Very sad.
Totally. Very sad. But we're going to do some things that'll remember him later on next year.
Yeah.
The saddest part was I was in the midst of getting together a show him and I were going to do.
Right.
Yeah, so maybe we'll do that at another
Well,
time.
I was in touch with him every single day almost. So it was sad for me. But anyways, moving on. So I'm going to open it up to the committee. Anybody need to say anything or want to say anything or have anything to add? Anybody?
I'm sorry for your loss, Julian.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much, Naomi. It was a loss for a lot of people, not only me.
Yes.
It was a loss for a lot of people. So it was a very, very sad thing.
Maybe could feature his work on the next round of the Instagram after Naomi's.
Well, that would be wonderful because I did talk to his sister, and his sister, they had a GoFundMe page, and she did say that she would like to donate some money to the Beachmont fire station to help in the renovation. I don't know if that will come to fruition, but we did talk about it. She would like to do something in Paul's name, so that's down the line. But that's a wonderful idea. I mean, if I can get in touch with his sister and say we can feature his work. He was a graphic artist, so he did a lot of logos, and he did a lot of nonprofit work. I met a couple of people at his wake, and they said that he did, he didn't take any money. He just did their logos because he loved it so much. So, yeah, that would be a wonderful idea. A wonderful gesture if we could feature his work. That would be wonderful. And I'm sure the family would really appreciate it. So, good idea, Elle. Thank you. Anybody else want to say anything? Anybody want anything to add?
Anyone in the world in viewing or listening spaces, there was a call from a group that Joanne got to participate with for street photographers. We're going to be doing something. It's up on all the social media places. I like, Elle, that you posted the links to those other places to look for funding and stuff like that. That's a good thing. And there's also the Revere Art Community Facebook page, and other events will always be coming up and things will be going on. I'm glad we were able to assist Ira tonight with some of the issues he had on that, and that it was something that I think we can all work positively towards to make it better for everyone involved. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you, everyone. Great meeting. And if you have any content or anything you want to share on the public art page, don't hesitate to send it to me, and I can usually get it up within about 24 hours. So
Thank you.
If you have any links, or you have friends that are running events or anything like that you think people may have an interest in, we'll just keep starting to post them so people will learn to go to the page.
I have a
And then
question.
when we post there, we can now also share it with on the Instagram page so people know to link back there.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay.
Who's the group that's doing the thing where kids are coloring art?
I don't know. Sorry.
It's Revere something. I've seen it on social media.
I don't know either.
I'm sorry, I don't know.
I'll have to search. Go ahead.
Someone with the school, in the schools. I know Kirsten used to do that. I don't know if she's in teaching or not, but I know.
I just thought it was a great thing. I always like, heart or whatever it is when you see it, but you don't see a lot of stuff like that for kids that young. That's a good thing.
Anybody?
One question
Sure.
for the call to artists. So we can't share that yet, correct? We're waiting still for some approval. Elle?
We're just going to have it on the link and then we can share it. I was waiting for you and Rob to approve the final Google Doc.
Okay.
And then once that's set, we can post it and I'll send the link to the group here so that everyone can share it out. Okay.
And we'll have the financial information on it, right?
Yes, I'll add that piece before we post it.
So
Okay.
full
So then
transparency.
there was one question about the callforentry.org. If you guys remember, that was it's a, international call to artists, portal. So we were working to get on there, but it's a long process, right? And where it's left off is that we need to fill out a form. I don't know if you saw it, Elle.
So there was also, because we thought that we were joining for $500 for the whole year and we could post as many projects as we wanted, and that's not actually the case. It's
Right.
$200 per project. So I think there's a question on whether or not is the committee comfortable with that? And we don't have an endless supply of funding. So we'll
Right.
basically be able to fund posting for these two projects and that's it.
Right.
Tells me we
There's
need
the
to start
membership
getting-
fee and then it's per project after that. And the membership fee, can you remind me,
I
Erin?
will believe, if I remember correctly, and I haven't looked at it in a while, but I believe the membership fee is $300.
300, right? And then another 200 per project.
Yeah,
So we can actually only advertise one project for $500.
right.
So I don't know, and it's $300 per year. So it's
Right.
300 for the year plus 200 for every project on top of that.
So I think my personal opinion is that it's really important, especially the mural at Butler Circle is amazing. Like it has to be awesome. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
So I think that if we don't want to post it internationally on a big platform like this, we need to really work together to promote it by word of mouth as much as we can in the next 2 months, you know, which I think we can also do. But it has to be a priority because, you know, the call is due in January and it's the holidays. You guys know the months are going to fly by.
Mhm.
So, you know, so I think if we don't want to do that, I think it's fine because I think that we can still, you know, we can promote it ourselves internally for this project. But I just want to communicate that to everyone because, you know, the time's going to go by fast.
Then that means we need to get our marketing piece put together visually that's striking so we can advertise consistently to everybody with that. We need to put a good pitch piece together.
I also think that we can push the timeline out since we are able to work beyond the fiscal year.
Sure.
So I think let's take some time over the next week to get that together.
Mhm.
Get it up, get it posted with the date, and maybe push the dates out a little. Let's revisit that. I'll send
Good.
something out and see if we can meet Thursday and get that finalized and up and running. Get the link out to everyone. We can at least start sharing it internally and go from there. Does that work for everyone?
Yeah.
And that's determining if we're going to go with the platform that'll advertise for us or going where we reach out to everybody. That's where we're going to with the next step, right?
Right.
Then we'll make that call.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, so I'm going to conclude the meeting and I want everybody to have a great holiday and we'll see each other January 18th.
Thank you. Have a great holiday.
Thank you.
If any of you need anything, feel free to reach out.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Holidays.
Bye.